October. Any friend that you want that's never been to the studio that doesn't have an account already in our mind body system can scan the little QR code at the bottom or in the center of the bingo card. And then they can sign up for a free week of yoga. So if anybody has any questions about how that works or how they can get a QR code, if they don't have a bingo card, let me know and I can walk you through that. It's super simple. Let's get started in child's pose. It's Friday. Let's get sweaty. See what we come up with. Spread out your fingers nice and wide on the mat and let your forehead come down to the floor. And then for the next 60 minutes, all you're focused on is just moving your body through space, regardless of what it took to get you here, what it took during today that you had to arrange so that you could be here on your mat. Put all of that extra stuff off to the side and just be right here. Take a full breath in through your nose and fill yourself all the way up. Long exhale out. 2 more like that. A big full breath in. Big exhale out. 1 more. Fill up all the way. Exhale all the way. And start building your Ujjayi breath. Long inhale with a pause at the top. Long exhale with a pause at the bottom. Just really purposeful right from the beginning of your practice, in a way that it can sync up with everyone else that's practicing in the room or even practicing at the same time in the other 2 studios. Downward facing dog. Move it all around. Pedal it out. Shake out the head. Start to get each one of your fingertips down into the mat intentionally. Walk your feet up to your hands. Hang in ragdoll. Pull the pit of your belly way in and up. You choose what you want to do with your arms and your hands, but a rounded low back that can stretch up to the ceiling and start to tease apart any tightness or stiffness that you've got in your low back. Release your hands down, rise all the way up to standing. Reach through your fingertips, bring your thumbs to heart center. Set your intention for practice. Pick one specific thing to focus on. We'll send out those intentions with 3 big ohms. Deep breath in. Inhale, reach up, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine. High to low push-up, step back. Upward facing dog, open up your chest. Downward facing dog, press back. Take a full breath in together. Big exhale out. Good, 2 more like that. In, get empty. Last one. Push all the air back out. Look forward and move, feet to hands. Halfway lift, fold down. Extended mountain, stretch the sides of your body all the way up. Forward fold. Halfway lift, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 big breaths. In, push the air out. Breathe in. Big exhale. Yeah, intentional. 1 more. Empty to the pit of your belly. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Extended mountain. Stretch all the way up. Look up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. The breath has a nice rhythm to it. Keep that up. Upward facing. Downward facing. Breathe in. Empty out. Full breath. Big exhale. Last one. Empty it out. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Lasana. Rise up to standing. A long inhale up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Exhale all the way down. Then inhale up dog. Exhale downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Purposeful exhale. Thumbs in the mat. Breath in. Breath out. Last one. Fill all the way. Empty all the way. Move forward. Halfway lift. Bow down. Chair pose. One full inhale. Exhale and fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Big breath in up dog. Let it out in down dog. Right side warrior one. Step through a long breath that goes all the way up to your fingertips. High to low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side warrior one. Step. Breathe in as you reach. Chaturanga on the exhale. So your breath is attached to your movement. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in together. Push the air out. Two more. Fill up. Exhale. Last one. Push all the air back out. Step or jump. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Utkatasana. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Keep that steady rhythmic breath. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior one. Step. Breathe in all the way up. Chaturanga. Exhale all the way back down. Upward facing. Downward facing. Left side. Step through on empty. Rise on your breath in. Chaturanga on the breath out. So there's no rush. There's just a purposefulness to it. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Push the air back out. Good. Two more. In. Empty. Last one. Push all the air back out. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Bow down. Chair pose. Sit back and lift your toes. Spread them. Good. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side, warrior one. A deeper lunge on this one. Knee on top of your ankle. Low push up. Upward facing. Downward facing. Left side, warrior one. Step, a deep lunge. Knee on top of ankle. Yes. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Clear it out. Fill up. Get empty. One more together. Push all the air back out. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Bow down. Last sun beach. Chair pose. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Fill your lungs. Downward facing. Empty out. Right side warrior. Step into it. Lift your chest. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, warrior one. Step and plug your big toe mounds in the mat. Low push up. Up dog. Downward facing dog. More awake, more down in your body than you were just a few minutes ago. Send your right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee and open your hip. Stay three-legged or flip your dog. Then full connection. Whatever's touching the floor, you're fully committed to those two surfaces coming together. To your heart coming up and away from the floor. Your hips up and away from the floor. Flip back over, side plank. Wrap everything into center. Skin to muscle to bone. And then bring awareness into your feet. Flex both of your ankles. Yeah, whether one's in the air, you've got a knee on the ground, or both. Last breath in here. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Send your left leg up to the sky. Bend your knee and open your hip. Stay or flip. Let the fluidity of your breath keep carrying you through pose by pose, not just in the sun salutations, but every single pose all the way to the end. Beautiful. Flip back over. Side plank. And then you build the variation that works best for you. And then attention on both of your feet. Flexed ankles, spread toes. So even the feet are contributing to that pulling into center line sensation. Last breath. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Clear it out. Right side crescent lunge. Step through. Keep building the breath as you set up your crescent. Yeah, and you can use a towel or get a drink. Whatever you need to do here, you just do that, but have the breath following you the whole way. Come a little deeper in the lunging leg and then press your back thigh straight up to the ceiling on purpose. Hands up to the sky if they're not there already. Yeah, and then take your gaze up to the ceiling so you can keep it glued to one spot on the ceiling, or maybe you start to walk it back with your hands and add more of a back bend. Nice. Hands to heart center. Let your gaze settle. Twist right. Palms together or arms apart. You choose. And then notice that the breath got quiet. Yeah, and you restart it. You're the one that's about that. The one that's going to bring the breath back into the space for you and everyone else. One more inhale. Stay for the whole exhale. Twist. Warrior 2. Face the other way. Steady rhythmic breath. So there's a sense of being settled. Even while you're physically challenging your body, there's a sense of ease and flow to it. Extended side angle. Elbow to your thigh or fingertips by your front arch. And create your extended side angle. It could be a bind. It could be both arms reaching past the front edge of your mat. And then whatever variation you choose, do it on purpose and attach it to your breath. Even the micro adjustments attached to your breath. One more inhale. Low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. One breath in. Big breath out. Left side crescent. Step your foot through. Yeah, all the adjustments that need to be made. Great. And breath the whole way. Some of you can stack your back heel right over the bottom end of your back foot. So maybe that means taking a longer stance front to back. Yeah, good adjustments. Now that the feet are settled, gaze up to the ceiling, fingertips up to the ceiling, stay or work your way back. So the further back you want to go, the more you have to anchor down into your feet. As soon as they get wobbly, press down into the feet. Hands to heart center. Twist left. Palms together or palms apart. It's amazing that just doing something as simple as looking up and then moving your arms and your gaze at the same time can throw off the balance of a pose. Drishti, super important. One more breath here. Stay for the exhale. Twist it out. Warrior 2. Settle your feet. Settle your drishti right over your front middle finger. I like using the middle finger here as the drishti because then you can be in this pose wherever and you always have your drishti there with you. Extended side angle. Drishti's on a different point. Pick one specific point. Purposeful ujjayi breath. With a bind or both arms reaching forward, a full expression of the pose, however that needs to show up for you. Last breath in here. High to low push-up on your exhale. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in together. Clear it out. Breathe in. Breath out. Last one. Push all the air back out. Step or jump. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose and breathe. Bring that sense of steadiness, of stability into this chair pose and send your tailbone way to the back edge of your mat. Yes, so the hip creases rather get super deep into the front side of your body. Hands to heart center, twist right. Keep those deep hip creases. Super common to let your hips kind of hike up. Keep them down low, below your heart. Open your arms. Yeah, and then that sense of being settled in the pose, even though there's a challenge that's happening, there's heat that's building. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chair pose. Fold. First 2 fingers around your big toes. Yeah, and then whatever adjustments you need to do here, maybe shaking out your head feels right, or bending and straightening your knees, that could feel like the right fit. Release your hands, heel toe the feet back together, squat down for chair pose. Down and back into it. Tailbone way back. Yeah, so a few of you had your thumbs in your hip creases and you pressed your hips back that way. That's a super helpful tool. Deep in the hips, hands to heart twist left. And then notice, right, as soon as you twist and open up your arms, did your hips come back up? Or is the hip crease now not as deep as it once was? Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chair pose. Fold. Gorilla. Step on your palms. Toes all the way up to your wrists. Right back into the breathing. An ebb and a flow to it. You do a pose, it's challenging, heart rate goes up a little bit, and then there's ease, there's a balance, a different stretch. Take your breath with you to crow pose from the head of your mat. All the surface area you can with your palms nice and wide, fingers nice and wide apart. Press down intentionally. Press down so much that you can get light. Your knees could get a little lighter on the backs of your triceps. Yeah, good work, David. You're so close to that. One more breath. Step or jump back, low push-up. It's got to look messy before it looks good. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in together. Empty it out. Breathe in. Exhale. Last one. Empty it out. Move forward, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Bow down. Rise all the way up to standing. Eagle pose. Right arm under, right leg over. Steady breathing the whole way through. Breathing in the balancing sequence is like a whole nother piece that has to be added on. Regardless of how great the balance feels right now, let there be breath. Left side eagle, left arm under, left leg over. Regardless of the balance or the exact shape of the pose, breath. Start to pull those things apart in your brain. Right side eagle. Pull the things apart. Different from, I'm kind of doing the pose, but I'm making sure in case somebody's watching, I'm doing the quote unquote right pose and I forgot about my breath. Let your body take the shape of the pose and then let breath happen. Good. Left side. One more. When there's less fighting, less trying really hard to force a thing to happen, balance can settle. Even if you've decided for yourself, oh, my balance isn't great, whatever that means. Yeah, and can you still just have your breath so everything can settle anyway? Standing leg raise, right side. Grab your right knee or your right extended foot. Yeah, strap around the foot, towel around the foot, all of that's good stuff. Stand up straight and tall, right in center to start. I want you to play around with getting your hips level. So oftentimes when you're holding the foot or the knee, that right hip will hike its way back up. See if you can get it to drop down a little bit. Yeah, Chuck, there you go. Yes, Kelly. And it'll feel like it's throwing your balance. Cool. You just stay with that. Level hips, open to the right, reach and look left. Check in here. Did the hip get hiked back up again, or can you level them back out? Good adjustments. I know it's kind of fighting what you want it to be. Like, oh, well, I can hold my balance better if the hip is up higher. Come back to center. Airplane. You got it. If you need to tap the foot to the floor to reset, that's fine. Do that. And then airplane. press through your lifted foot so much that it straightens out your lifted leg, long and straight. Then half moon, open up. Long and straight through the lifted leg, and then you can use it like the rudder on a boat to steer your way a little forward, a little back. Find the sweet spot right in the center. One more inhale. Both feet to the mat. Standing leg raise, left side. Grab the knee or the foot. Set your drishti on one point and then start to play with evening out your hips, making them level. Nice adjustments. Keep the hips nice and level. Open up to the left. Reach and look to the right. Then you check back in. Did the hip go? Did the left hip hike its way up, or can you drop it back down? Yes, David, good. I know, it gets tricky when your brain's going, but you're balanced. Yep, and then just fall out and reset it. Back to center. Airplane. Because what will happen when you work on leveling out your pelvis in the balancing poses, they will get stronger and it will get easier to balance when you're working on the pelvis being level and square. You can level it out here by turning your left hip down towards the floor a little bit. Yeah. Pull the pit of your belly in. Half moon, open up. So even here, when you've got that right hip open and that front hip long and straight, the pulling into center, hugging in to keep the balance. One more breath. Feet to the mat. Standing bow or dancer's pose, right side. Grab the strap or have a towel or grab your ankle, whichever works best, and tip forward. Yeah, take the pose on your side. Perfect. You get to take whatever variation you want and then just lean into it. Lean right into it. Different from just jumping from grabbing the ankle or strap and then you're in the full version of the pose. See what there is to see as you kind of push and pull a little bit. Take up more space. Then switch sides. Standing bow or dancer on the left. That simple space of, okay, I'm right here. I'll move a little further forward, push a little further back. So you're in discovering, you're building the pose little bit by little bit. One more breath. Feet to the floor. Second set, right side. Standing bow or dancer's pose. Let the settling happen where the breath is easy and it flows. Even though the pose is challenging, something might be shaking, sweat might be dripping, and there's that sense of ease to the work. One more breath. Switch. You got it. Last one. Lean into it. Standing bow or dancer's pose, your last one. Come right up to the edge of the thing with a sense of curiosity, not forcing yourself to get there, but okay, cool, what's next? Like what's possible from this point? Last big breath. Feet to the mat. Tree pose, right side. Any variation of tree you want to take is on the table. Steady breath. So the only thing you can hear, the only thing your attention can pay attention to is the rhythm of the breath, the sound of the breathing. Switch sides. Tree pose on the left. And then what's next? What do you need to make a micro adjustment? Where do you need to shift something a little bit? And you see what works and what doesn't work. Just a fine-tuned listening, what's actually occurring in this moment. Last breath in. Both feet to the mat. Extended mountain. Reach your hands up to the ceiling. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, step or jump back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side triangle. Step your right foot between your hands. The breath has been awesome all practice. Keep it going through grounding. Been on a mission these last couple of weeks to make breath happen in the grounding section because it's where everyone likes to go, yeah, breath, I got it, whatever. I'll get back to it when I'm in back bends. Bring it in here so you can use the exhales to root your feet further into the ground and build foundation for the back bends after these grounding poses. Rise all the way up to standing. Side facing wide leg fold. Turn both feet to the long edge of your mat and hinge forward. Working the good old-fashioned fold tonight, folks. So you have two options. You can walk your hands out in front and stretch, fingertips to tailbone, or walk your hands back between your legs to bring the crown of your head to the floor. So either one of those. And you do the best you can to create as much length as possible in your spine from crown to tail. Nice, and you might find that bending your knees a little bit more will give you the space you need to lengthen. Press into your feet, rise all the way up to standing. Namaste, front facing forward fold with a bind, either hand to elbow behind your back or reverse namaste. Before you hinge forward, see that you've got an equal amount of weight in both of your feet. So when you start to lean forward, you don't shift all of your weight to your front leg. Hinge at your hips. Yeah, I know some of you are going slower like, oh, okay. Yeah, something to pay attention to. If you get to your full point of stretch, your full capacity for this pose, and your back foot's getting light, press the back heel straight into the mat. Yes, Chuck, there you go. Just root it down until that weight distribution is equal. Twisting triangle. Hand can go to a block or a water bottle. Twist and ring out towards the side of the room. And when you keep that equal weight distribution in your feet, it's more grounded and stable, so a deeper twist can be possible in your torso. You can stay here in twisting triangle or take twisting half moon. You'll just scoot forward a bit and lift the back leg up to the sky. The moment the back foot leaves the ground, flex your ankle a lot. Yes. One more breath in. High to low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side triangle. Step your left foot forward. Build from the ground up with the powerful breathing, your drishti, your gaze on one spot. What would it take in your breathing to really create a stable and awake foundation in both of your feet? A space where the rest of your body could expand and open up and you're grounded through the feet simultaneously. Rise all the way up, side facing wide leg fold, this time with a bind. Clasp your hands behind your back or take a strap between your hands. Hinge forward. Add more breath in here while you're folded forward. Let the inhales be big and full across your upper back so it can start to tease open some of the tissue in the upper back or in the front of your shoulders. Release the hands down, rise up to standing. Namaste front facing with your bind. Before you hinge forward, get that back leg powerful, the back foot in the floor. Then right at the hips, a deep hip crease. Go for it. Take your pose. Can you notice as you make your way there, like is there a certain spot where the weight starts to shift forward and can you make an adjustment? Many of you have been coming to your mat again and again and again, multiple times a week for months and years even at this point. So the fine tuning is really what's going to sharpen and hone your practice. Keep the legs nice and powerful, twisting triangle. Wide open chest with collarbones that reach apart from one another as far as they'll go. You can even squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back to help expand through the whole front of your chest. Stay your twisting half moon. Light and lifted through that back leg. It's the hamstring, that lifted hamstring that pulls up to the ceiling. High to low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in together. Clear it out. Breathe in. Breath out. Last one. Clear everything back out. Roll out to a high plank. Shoulders on top of your wrists. Slow as you can. Lower everything down to the floor. Locust poses next. Start the breathing before you rise up. Big, powerful ujjayi breathing before you come up and away from the floor. Now, when you've got the rhythm of it, rise up, because it's a little different when you've got your stomach pressed into the floor. Let the breathing happen in your upper chest and your upper back. Light and lifted. Squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back on purpose. Beautiful. One more breath. Lower down. Rock the hips out left and right. Locust number 2, powerful breathing, and then come up and away from the floor. That sense of buoyancy in the back bends comes when the breath is present. So even as you shift a little this way and that, there's still breath to fill that space. One more inhale. Lower down. Hips left and right. Floor bow number 1. We'll do half floor bow today. So grab a hold of your right ankle and have your left arm out in the front edge of your mat. Yep, just across the front. And we'll just keep adding pieces on so you can stop at whatever piece works best for you. Start here, rise up, press that one shin straight back. Get the tension between your shoulder stretching and the shin pulling back. Hand can stay here, or you can reach the arm out in front. Just stretch it out in front of your mat. Maybe you're on spider fingertips on the floor. Keep stretching those 2 points far, far apart from one another. Last piece, stay here or reach your hand up to where the wall and ceiling meet in front. Oh, yes. Press, stretch, lower down, shake it out, left and right. I know. Ruby taught this earlier in the week and now I'm stuck on it, this half bow stretch thing. Okay, left side. Grab a hold of your left ankle. Start with your right forearm out in front. Now you know where you're headed, so just pause here and let this stretch out, this point-to-point stretch. Your chest forward, your shin back. And maybe the arms out in front, templed fingers or a flat palm, up to you. Get a feel for that. Stretch that out. Shin through the center of your chest, through your hand, and maybe the hand comes up and away from the floor. Oh, yes. Last breath in, reach, lower down, side to side. I feel like that gives me, at least in my body, more of a, oh my gosh, than a full floor bow. Upward facing dog, rise up from the mat. Downward facing dog, press back. Take one breath in together. A big exhale out. Camel, one camel this afternoon. Lower your knees. You set it up. Hands can be back behind you or reach back for your heels. Take your pose. This is a very common pose to let the breath get quiet or disappear altogether. Make breath happen in your camel. Yeah, it can be out through your mouth. Like maybe you need to clear something because now your chest is open and your throat is open. Clear it out. Get it out of your system. Next, inhale, rise up and out. Downward facing dog to reset. Look between your hands. Jump through to sit. Make your way onto your back for bridge pose. You might have a block you want to stick between your thighs. Rise up, hips off the mat, hands clasped underneath you or cactus arms. Yeah, sometimes one arm variation feels good for like one class and then you want to switch, or it's good for a couple of months and you're like, yeah, that's not it anymore. Then just switch. Press your big toe mound straight into the floor. Last breath in. Lower down. Knees side to side. All right, moving on to wheel pose. Not a super rushed wheel, right? You've been smooth, cool as a cucumber all practice. Tuck your fingertips under your shoulders. Wheel number 1, rise up and away from the mat. Yeah, it's just the next pose in the sequence. It just happens to be a bigger back bend. Then tuck your chin and come down. Breathe in together. Full breath out. Number 2, press, lift, go. Smooth, fluid. Yeah, up and away from the floor. Beautiful. Feet and hands connected. And then lower back down. Breath in. Breath out. Number 3, press, lift, go. Nothing in the way now. It's clear. You're going point A to point B. Tuck your chin and lower. Full breath. Big exhale. Number 4, press and go. So even though there is that sense of the heart rate going a little higher, maybe more sweat happening, tuck your chin and come down. There's still that sense of smooth ease with the breathing. Rise back up. Number 5, only 2 more left. Bridge your wheel away from the mat. Connected to the mat. Lower down. 1 breath in. Clear it out. Last one, last bridge, last wheel, press, lift, go. Away from the ground in a big, smooth, open back bend. Come on down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Good stuff. Maybe there's a sigh that needs to come out. Or a loud exhale through your mouth. Happy baby or dead bug. Your back on the mat, the back of your pelvis, that bony plate down on the mat. Legs straight up in the air. Set up for scissor legs. Hands behind your head or underneath your hips. Lower your right leg halfway to the mat. Take a full breath in. Exhale, switch. Breathe in. Exhale, switch. Breathe in. Exhale, switch. Let there be an ebb and a flow to the scissor legs. Yes, work happening, tapas being created, heat being created, and that sense of flow with your breath. Keep going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs straight up in the air. Both legs straight up. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Lower both legs 30 degrees. Lower them 60. Lower to hover. Press forward. Squeeze into center. Legs back up. Reset the base. Shoulders down. Hips down. Lower 30. Lower 60. Lower to hover. Tiny circles with the feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs straight up. Reset the base. Low belly down. Shoulders down. Good. Last one. 30. 60. Hover. Circles the opposite way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs straight up. Knees into your chest. Oof, those circles. I'll tell you what. Abdominal twist. Hands behind your head. Elbow to opposite knee. Go for it. Side to side. Movement attached to breath all the way to the end. It gives your mind plenty to focus on so you can really be up to what's happening just one moment at a time. Give all of that thinking a break. Go for 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees into your chest. Reclined right side half pigeon. Stick with recline for this because we'll add a couple of pieces on here. So right leg crosses your left thigh like a figure 4. Then you can have one hand right through that triangle around the back of your thigh and the other one on the outside of the thigh to meet the fingertips and help pull it in. Yeah, and it can be around the front of your shin as well. So if one of those feels more comfortable than the other, choose the one that's more comfortable. So pause right here to start, whether you're super bendy flexy or you're super tighten on the opposite end of that spectrum. Flex both of your ankles and spread your toes. Yeah. Now, melt both of your shoulder blades into the floor. This is step 1. You can stay right here. If you feel like, yeah, I could go for a little bit of a deeper stretch, you're going to wrap your arms around your right leg. So you've got one arm around the knee, one around the end of your foot, and you can interlace your fingers around that leg. So it'll look like this. It's called rock the baby. You have hand around, hand around. Sometimes it feels good to rock side to side here. Sometimes stillness is like, that's as much as I can manage. Yeah, and that's step 2. So you've got the arms wrapped around the shin. If you feel like you've got a little more space, let your left leg come down to the floor. Left leg comes down to the floor. Right leg stays right where it is. Flex the right ankle as best you can, even though you're holding, rocking the baby. Good. Shoulder blades back to the floor. Few more breaths here. How much can you settle and allow this hip to get teased open? Let both legs go long on your mat. Shake them out a little bit. Then switch sides. Left leg across like a figure 4. Start with the hands around the back of the thigh or around the front of that shin. Hips are the biggest joint in your body. So even though you know where you're going and you're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to drive right through to that, give it some space. Hips are tricky in that way. If you push them a little too far before they're ready to go there, they'll lock up and not let you go any further. Stay here or wrap the forearms around that left shin and hug it in towards your chest. Sometimes holding the foot feels better. Sometimes interlacing the fingers feels better. You can play around and try on what feels best. And then that last piece is letting the right leg, go long and straight on the floor and keeping that shin, the left shin, hugged in toward your chest. You might find that on one side, you can let your long leg touch the floor, and on the other side, the foot's hovering, and you're like, I want it to touch the floor, but it's not quite there. See if you can soften it so that it might just get to the mat. Few more breaths. Both legs long on the mat or long on the floor. Stretch them out. Frog pose. You can take frog facing the floor or on your back with your feet against the wall. There's plenty of room in here for that. If you're practicing at home, it might be frog with your feet against a piece of furniture. Take the breath with you as you settle the frog and as you maintain stillness in your frog. On purpose. And there's a point for everyone, regardless of how flexible you are in your frog pose, where the brain goes, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. We've been here long enough. Let's get out. Listen to what's actually going on in your body. If deep sensation is happening, great, stay right there. Pain is one thing, a deep sensation, an intense sensation is a different thing. It really takes every single pose in the Journey into Power sequence to get to this point so that your body's ready for frog pose. Steady breathing all the way to the end. Slowly make your way out. Seated single leg extension next. Right leg out, left heel in towards your thigh. You can make it a side bend or fold straight over the leg. Lots of tools, straps, blocks, all of that good stuff. Yeah, use the tools. Let the whole back line of your body soften, the whole spine, all the way down the back of your leg. Switch legs, opposite one out. Draw the other heel in. Deep breathing. On the back of your body, maybe higher up in your chest. Like there's always a place in each and every pose where you can physically expand and make more room for a big inhale. Seated forward fold, both legs straight out. Hinge at your hips, at least a little bit of softness in both of your knees. Yeah, so it's the muscles doing the stretch. Outer edge of your feet back towards your face. Tabletop or reverse plank. Plant the palms. Fingertips face the front edge of your mat. Rise up and away from the floor. Feet connected to the ground. Heels, whether you're in tabletop or plank, heels straight into the floor. Take one more breath in here. Lower the hips. Fish pose. With or without a block, your choice. If you choose without, get those hands tucked so far underneath that you can really get the top of your head to the mat. Allow the block or your shoulder blades to scoop right from the back of your heart up toward the ceiling. Eyes stay open, let them focus right on one spot. Right on one spot. Last breath in here. Full exhale out. Make your way onto your back. Get upside down time. Inversion of your choice. Steady breathing the whole way while you're upside down. An active choice to have a stable foundation, to have powerful breath, a drishti on one spot. And then you stay. See what there is to discover. Give your body time to drain out. Oftentimes, when we're upside down, it's like as soon as something starts to happen, we're like, yep, cool, next pose. Let something happen. Few more breaths for the headstanders and handstanders. Few more breaths for shoulder stand and then take plow. Can move from waterfall to plow, certainly. Pause and plow. Let it be a full pose. Pull out a Def Yogi. Bend your knees. Hug them by the sides of your head. Slowly lower down. Back to the mat, piece by piece. Knees into your chest, and then supine twist to the right. Supine twist, opposite way. Supta Baddha Konasana. Shavasana. Got a cold eye towel if you haven't already put that where you need to put it. Long legs, long arms. Take a long, slow breath in through your nose. Fill yourself up and up and up. Exhale it out. Let your entire body rest easy on your mat. Deepen your breath. Bring some movement back into your hands and your feet. Plant your feet on the floor and rock onto your right side. With your eyes still closed, press down and rise up. Take a comfortable seat. Inhale, reach your hands overhead. Exhale, thumbs to heart center. We'll finish our practice together with 3 final ohms. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Exhale it out. Thumb knuckles to forehead center. Thank you all so much for taking time to get on your mat and get up to something on a Friday afternoon. Namaste. Good work, everybody. All right, towels, eye towels, straps, all of that extra stuff can go in the hamper outside the studio door. If anyone has any questions about Bingo Challenge, Himalayan still has space for December. Access starts tonight. If you're looking to pull the trigger on something big, that would be it. Lisa O and I will be leading it. And if you can't do it this weekend, but you decided, yeah, I actually want to do the access training for fall and I'm going to just miss one weekend, I can still fit you in. So let me know. Have an awesome rest of your weekend.